Check out this video on the House of Machismo Podcast. It's House of Machismo.
All right, so how do you guys come up? I think you guys asked me about topics. How do you guys come up with topics, for your show?
So honestly, it's like a day-to-day thing. We could be going through something at work, and we just like, hey, that's something good to talk about. And I know one of the really big topics that came up was Joel had a personal situation you went through when you were like, I was driving, and you're like, hey, do you believe in God? I'm like, that's a big topic to talk about.
God, how did that pop in your head?
Yeah,
I don't think Rudy believes in God.
No, I have no idea, but I know what he's saying because we'll find ourselves, we spend a lot of the time traveling. Mm-hmm. So for obviously your listeners probably don't know about us as far as our line of work, but we travel for a living when it comes to work. Mm-hmm. And during that time, you have so much time to think about stuff. Yeah. So I find myself getting from point A to point B and just like, my mind wanders a lot. Okay,
really does.
I learn a language on the way or something.
And so I find myself just kind of thinking of stuff. That being one of those kind of moments where I was like, "Hey, do you believe in God?" And we had a full blown conversation about that.
Mind you, it's like 5 a.m. I'm driving. I'm like,
in snow. I'm pretty sure it was snowing.
It was snowing
during that
We're
time.
like in Vermont or something. I'm like, it is too early to talk about this right now.
But when we do find us, thinking about or talking about conversations that I think are relatable, because everyone thinks about like their belief systems, or some people do grow up like me, being an ex Jehovah's Witness and kind of like going through that experience, and like a lot of people are like, oh, you were in a cult, and so we talked about that, right? Like was it how did I perceive my experience in that? And people are interested in it, so we have a notes. Shared notes in for our iPhones. Yeah. And we write down anything that we think of that we want to talk about. We'll jot it down. At this point, we have like hundreds of topics. Some we haven't even touched.
I know.
But we do have them there, and that's how we kind of like write down what we want to.
Some of it is based on life experiences. Like for me,
most of it, I think.
Yeah, majority of it. Yeah. Like for me, like after I came out to my parents, we decided to use that as an episode, which was a big episode. That was our first episode of season 2.
Yes. Yeah, that was. Yeah.
How did you guys tease it? Like Rudy has a big surprise.
Yeah. I don't even know how we teased it, but it's funny when now that he mentioned that when we were here the last time, we weren't officially. I don't even think we were a couple yet.
Can I share a feeling with you guys?
Yeah.
I got that vibe from you too.
Yeah.
I definitely.
And for us, we're like, this is the best kept secret. Meanwhile, everybody knew.
Yeah, it's like
everybody knew.
It wasn't a surprise. I'm like, oh, that's it. To be honest, it's kind of like when Trump was announcing, he's like, hey, I have a big surprise. Everybody's all like, and then when he reveals it, they're like, oh,
that's
okay.
Kind of a letdown.
but that's the thing is like, I kind of got that vibe.
Right.
But for me, obviously I wouldn't say anything because I have no idea if it was or wasn't, and so when you guys started I did listen to that particular episode, not specifically for that. I kind of listened to every other episode.
Yeah.
But for that, it wasn't such a big shock, and I think right now, even nowadays, it's like, it's not such a big deal, I guess, it just, if you avoid certain aspects of our public, certain places of our public, to be honest, it's just not such a big deal anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and
I think that's a good thing, where it's not like I hate the word normalize, but I think that's actually not a bad thing. It's like, it's like some of my guy friends are like, oh, well, I don't like the idea of two guys kissing, or not the idea, but I don't want to see that. And it's like, but it's okay to see, a man and woman kiss, and they're like, well, I don't like that either. It's like, okay, so you just don't like any of that. That's fine.
Yeah. You're just not a PDA person.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So it's not the problem if it's two dudes, or if it's two women, or if it's a man and a woman. You just don't like it all in general. So obviously you have sex with your clothes on. That's fine.
And the lights off.
And the lights off.
Vanilla.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's fine if you're out in public, and I don't want to see two people making out while I'm out shopping, shopping and whatever.
I think that goes for like, and that is a very old school mentality.
Yeah.
I think period. Because you do. I mean, and even still, like I don't really see that right at the moment either.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever really see anyone like
Yeah.
a peck.
It's fine.
Okay, yeah,
I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
holding
but
hands,
not a full blown
that's fine.
makeout session.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless
It's
we're
like-
at the club, then
That's different.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
People are drinking, and
That's different. That's
gets
the
a
kind of
little
environment
raunchy.
that you're going into. But like
Yeah.
if I'm at Michael's, I don't want to see a dude and a chick making out. Or
Excuse me, I just want to get this.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just trying
it's
to
like-
get my ribbon.
It's like I need to get this leather kit over here. It's for my niece.
Exactly.
But for me, I think that'd be kind of cool if we get to a point where that's fine. If you see two guys or two women or guy and a girl, whatever, and they just kind of kiss, that's fine. It's on public TV now. It's back in the day when I was younger. It's like that wasn't. I remember Melrose Place. I never saw the
Melrose Place.
episode.
You don't know what that is.
You don't know
probably.
what that
I've
is.
heard of it,
But I
it
remember,
sounds familiar.
I never saw the episode because it was never my show. But I heard that they were going to have the first guy on guy kiss on television.
like ever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal for a reason.
It was. And I'm not quite sure if they actually did it or not. I think it might have been a thing where they were about to do it and then they pan over to the fireplace or whatever. I'm not quite sure. But I remember the very first time that I did see two guys kiss on television
Did something happen
was on PBS.
for you?
No.
Awakening.
No. But it was on PBS. And it was based on a play called God damn, I was like 12. Hold on, let me think.
You're watching plays at 12 years old?
No, this was an adaptation. On PBS.
Okay.
I was watching
it's
PBS.
They do plays and
Joel,
stuff on
I'll
there.
go ahead and let you know that I'm a very eccentric kind of a person.
I love it. I'm here for it.
As a kid, I was watching 2020 and Dateline and all that kind of stuff.
I was watching Arthur.
I know.
I love that show.
I read Arthur.
I read Arthur too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read Arthur.
You're like,
No.
what, you read it? Is that you-
Was it a book before it became a show?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you know what?
Oh yeah. It was a
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not even kidding. Like,
Yeah,
I
Arthur
just
was a
didn't
book.
know. Man, I
It goes
I
back
fucked
into
with
the
Arthur
60s.
so hard. I love that show.
Okay, so I remember reading Arthur as a kid and thinking this would be a cool TV series.
yeah.
Because everything was having its own TV series. And I
Right,
thought,
at the
this would be
time.
kind of cool.
And it was.
I was already an adult when that came out. And I'm
Right.
like, oh, well, that's cool. It's like, it's a TV series finally, you know, but this is how eccentric I am, is that I even started following the production of it because it was like 10 million a season to actually animate and produce the series. That's how much I was, because I'm kind of curious about those kind of things. You remember, because I told you about numbers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so for that, I thought that's pretty interesting. PBS, has been, I'm changing the subject now. PBS has always been this big, huge influence, in my life, and I always thought, oh, well, this is actually kind of cool, that they're branching out to animation. This is like after Wishbone. Okay.
After Wishbone. I
Yeah.
remember that
You
too
remember
when I
that
was
too.
little.
I
Yeah.
barely remember that. My sister was the one I watched it.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to watch it. So
Oh man, all
Well,
those
you missed a little
childhood
dog
shows.
and all that.
I mean, I know who he is.
Yeah,
And
but
you
I
love
never-
dogs
Yeah.
too, so it's kind of like that would have been great for you.
Yeah, little Jack Russell Terrier.
I was already, I think, in
Inner
high
monologue?
school.
A little Lana. It was a little Lana.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Our dog is like a Jack Russell Terrier mix. So I'm like, it was basically Lana, but like Lana's the fat version.
Lana's thick. She's thick.
Is Lana overweight?
She is. I don't like to use
She's
the term
healthy.
overweight.
She's healthy.
I
She's
just like to
healthy.
use the term she's thick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thick in the hips. Like if you slap her butt and you just shake it, it's like hey, get it.
But would she have a
like
heart
that.
condition?
No.
Okay,
She's like healthy.
Okay,
like,
good.
But she's just thick.
Okay.
She's just got hips. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, imagine that. You have a dog with hips.
So we went from
That's the
from Arthur to a dog with hips.
that's the thing about the House of Machismo podcast. You don't have any idea where we're going to go with this.
There are no
you know?
lines
Well,
drawn.
because we talked about that where you guys write everything down. Like,
Yeah.
like you guys literally, like, I still have a hard
Right.
time grasping
that idea.
Yeah. So you guys write everything down that you're going to say.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, we'll
Like,
sit down and have a writing session, and
and within the writing session, like we'll go ahead and start like so I got the idea from one of the Kid Craddock morning show. You know the Kid Craddock morning show, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I've heard of it. Yes.
Yeah, so it's a 106.1 radio show that I used to work at. And so when I was there, obviously I got a lot of the behind the scenes of what goes into producing a radio show. And it baffled me because I don't know if I'm, I don't know,
allowed to
the
say?
NDA is...
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
All right. What's he going to do?
It's got dark.
Yeah.
So, but... Anyway, but yeah, so
R.I.P.
one of the
Kid Craddock.
yeah,
But anyway.
R.I.P. But yeah, whenever I was seeing the behind the scenes stuff, it kind of was just like shocking to me in the same way that you're saying you like can't grasp the idea.
Yeah,
that's how I felt. Because I saw that they would literally word for word write down what they were saying, and that was like, what? How do they do that? How do they write what they're saying literally word for word? And then when they're talking on the show, it just comes out like so natural. Like you can't even tell that they are, reading what they wrote. It just seems so natural. So I loved it because for me, I'm like, okay, they are just so professional at this point that it's like effortless for them, right?
Yeah.
And I liked the idea of that because they knew what they were going to say. They already had in mind where the conversation was going to go. And for me, I was like, okay, I feel like we could, replicate that.
Yeah.
And do the same thing for our show. And we hear it all the time too, that, when people hear that, they're like, oh, I'm shocked. I had no idea that you guys were doing that, which we don't say everything word for word.
Yeah.
And what we really do is write it out so that we know for the most part what we're going to say and how we're going to say it. But as the conversation goes, we go with the flow,
See,
and it's just a point of reference for us at that point.
This is literally it. That's literally it.
I know. I saw that before we started recording, you were showing us kind of like your outline of what we were going to talk about. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I don't know. I feel like we're so used to it at this point that I don't know if we could.
And it helps.
Just
It
not
helps
do
me
it.
because being blunt, and it's because in high school we were newspaper photography and all that. And for me, writing should be.
I wasn't a nerd. What are you talking about? I don't know. I was part of the bike club, the motorbike club.
And writing should come easy because I like to think I have that background from high school and some college. And now when I have to apply it to our podcast, I'm like, shit. Sometimes I go blank and I'm like, okay, I told you, I was like, can you help me out here? Throw me something to kind of get me going.
Have you guys ever done a show where you just don't write anything down and just have a conversation?
We used to.
Yeah, in the very beginning.
That used to. Did we ever? Or did
we
just
had bullet
start?
points in the very beginning.
I think in the beginning it did. Yeah, it started off as bullet points.
How did that go?
I've gone back, because I found myself like just kind of sometimes I'll go back and listen to some of the earlier episodes just to listen to them.
Yeah.
And see how we've progressed, and honestly, I don't think you could really tell the difference. We always had a conversation. I mean, feel like right now, us three engaging,
Right.
I feel like we're doing.
What are you talking about? We wrote everything down. We're literally reading this right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're doing such a good job as far as having that conversation, like naturally and without a script or whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I at this point, I don't know if it's a habit or that I'm used to it, that I don't know if I could see myself not writing stuff down
we
like
also,
that.
We also drink when we write too.
Oh, you do?
That's a bonus.
Okay.
For me.
So how's your spelling when you guys do that? Thank God
My
for spell
grammar's
check.
excellent. Rudy's on the other hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how we do it. I don't know. I don't know if you could tell the times that you've heard it, but I feel like we do a pretty good job about not making it sound like
because when I listen, it seems like you guys are putting not on a performance, but it sounds like you guys are trying to sound professional.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's the part that I'm hearing, like you guys are,
And see, and that's why I drink. That's why. Because I have had a tendency, me personally, and I think sometimes Rudy at times it will show more than me. But for me, because we do write, I feel like there is a sense of that, it has to go a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that comes through, and that's the only thing that I'm trying to change. Hence why, really, honestly, why sometimes drinking is incorporated, because I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm being too serious right now, and I need to loosen up. And like, so that will come, and that's how that happened.
Like for me, sometimes I'll write and I was like, it's come to my attention. It's like, I don't fucking talk like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And he does do that too. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll find ourselves doing like, I would never say this. Like, if I was having a conversation with someone, I would never use this fucking atrocious. Like, I don't speak like that. So, yeah, I think, you know what? I think maybe this coming year, we'll probably try to just do no
drinking. Okay.
No, we drink enough. I'll try to just not
put it to an IV.
At this point, just walk around with the alcohol IV in your system, and you'll be fine.
Cheaper.
Just make sure it's liquor, because beer creates bubbles and you can die.
That's
But anyway, okay. So I guess. Whenever I do listen to the show, it does sound like as if you guys are trying to sound professional. You know, something that maybe that's part of the reading part. But for me, I couldn't imagine writing any of it down, especially for the other three guys, or even asking them to do any of that. I can barely get them to get here on time. You know? But I think also it helps to our spontaneity. You know, they're clever. Yeah. You know, and so I like that. And so I just like the idea. Like I said, we've gone through how many topics already, just kind of moved back and forth and all that. Some people are like, I remember when I first started the podcast, people always ask me, what's your podcast about? And it's like, what do you mean, what's it about?
Do you find it hard
to define it?
People? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Because we get that same question. Yeah. I feel like we always had an idea, so we got it down. But I didn't
oh, yeah, no, that's fine.
So what do you tell people?
Yeah, just don't ever do it again. But I try to come up with a couple of sentences on how to explain what our podcast's about. Okay. But the only thing that I do that seems to really come out of my mouth, and I kind of start using it now as a slogan. I tell them, just listen. Just listen. That's all you have to do.
Just listen.
And then you'll get the
like
idea.
Just do it. Nike's. Yeah. Just do it. But just listen. You should do that.
I have the backwards swish. Yeah. So it's just the other way.
You should do just listen and make that make that a little
logo.
Like logo or something.
Slogan. Yeah.
Or something that you could like market with like your underwear that I hear you have.
We have official House of Machismo underwear.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys have any kind of merch?
Awesome.
I give mine away for free. Not my actual underwear. But people have to pay for that.
With the caca stains.
Yeah. What are you talking about? No, but
he's like, with the caca stains.
Well, people pay extra for that. Anyway, but
there's a market for that.
There is a market for that. But I like giving it away for free. The merchandise, guys. Anyway, just because I want people to always have a good experience.
Yeah.
You know, with this, you know, just, and I don't think people actually pay for this kind of stuff. But anyway, I like the idea of just giving it away for free. It's like, here you go, have a free shirt. You get a shirt. You get a shirt. You get a shirt. You know?
We've been meaning to do the same thing. We just haven't had the chance, but that's definitely our goal. So we met our goal this year with getting our first like advertisement and incorporating video, you know, all that stuff. And, so we're really proud of that and where we are at this point in the show. But definitely one of the things that Rudy has been actually kind of talking about way before me was kind of doing the whole like clothing thing, you know, doing something with that, which he's been looking into. Which is an awesome idea, and then just doing kind of like a giveaway and getting people to like, you know, tag their friends or something, and then like, you
kind
know,
of grow the
whoever
page
does it. Yeah, and because we've been wanting to get a lot more followers on Instagram, and which is why we're trying to do the whole TikTok thing now, because you know everyone's on TikTok.
Eventually, yeah.
But
and,
you know,
like I've seen the pictures and stuff of the underwear, not the ones you're wearing, but the ones that you give away.
Yeah.
And because like I did venture out and tried getting like people to not people but vendors to kind of start sending me I guess not samples, I don't know how to explain it. Remember the cup situation? So our podcast kind of went from drinking coffee is kind of how we started. And so I was like, hey, let me try to get like a coffee mug or something with our logo on it. And
which we still should do.
We should. And the one that was presented to me, I was like, I wasn't quite sold on it. So I'm trying to find the right vendor to get.
Walmart.
So if you have
Walmart.
They do all that kind of stuff. I have someone that does our shirts, and as a matter of fact, the underwear
Send
idea
them our
came
way.
from Carlos.
Yeah.
Tiffany.
Yeah,
Okay.
send them our way.
Okay.
Because we definitely.
I've been having issues trying to find a good vendor to do it for us. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything helps, guys. Anything.
Yeah, anything. If you got a merch idea, just send it their way.
Yeah.
It's like,
I love
hey.
the underwear idea.
Yeah.
That was
That's
that was
so
all
cool.
Carlos. He's all like, we should have our own boxer briefs. He's so excited about everything. That's what I like about Carlos.
Is he the gay one?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
Because we get excited about everything.
Yeah. he gets very excited. I'm like, calm
Underwear,
down.
yeah.
Calm down. The only thing that and he promised next time is that he works out, so every once in a while he'll put a selfie of himself in boxer briefs on his
nice.
Facebook. And
So we'll have to follow him. Support our fellow gays.
So that's what that comment. That's what the comment was about. Because I saw he posted that picture and you commented, "Is like, where the House of Machismo Podcast?"
yes, because it's like, dude, come on. It's like
That's like perfect marketing
that's
opportunity.
Perfect, And so, but interesting enough, he'll get like 100 likes on that. But then when he posts some of our material, it's like way
It's
low.
like-
it's like way
Well,
low.
yeah, slutty sells.
We need to put yeah, exactly. And so I thought about doing the official House of Machismo sexy calendar.
I was about to say, you should do men's
Oh,
calendar.
yeah. But
I
think-
would buy that.
But I think it would be like actual, like real male models, but we'll just superimpose our faces on it.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay. Well, I guess I'll buy that
well,
too.
I mean, anyway, but what was I talking about?
What were
Let's
we?
see here.
Yeah, we were
everything.
talking about. But the underwear situation is
Yeah.
really cool. We definitely do want to do that.
Yeah.
So you guys
I need-
inspired that for us.
I need to figure out something for more specific for women.
bras.
I thought about that, but different. So it's so many different shapes and sizes and all
Yeah.
that. With the men, it's literally
Underwear.
it's medium, large, extra large. That's literally
tank
it.
tops.
And so that's what I was looking into was like
Yeah.
tank tops, And so
Look at
again,
this.
that's our goal for
Gotta
this
do it.
year.
We got to do it. So that's our
something
goal
for
this
women.
year too. Is like getting merch, getting more followers on Instagram, and creating the fucking TikTok already.
Yeah.
We've moved on from that.
Yeah.
We're on underwear.
Yeah,
now.
we're on something else now. Okay. God, it would be. That'd be cool. This is the show where you two break up. And I caused it. It's like, no, you two, and it's perfect. You two drove in your own cars today.
Oh, we did. That was the first sign that something
Yeah, exactly.
is wrong
Something
in
was-
this relationship right now.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, oh no, I have to go to Louisville later. He doesn't have to go.
Oh no, I have his location. I know where he's going.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so one of my goals this year is to actually take the show out on the road.
Okay.
Kind of do this, but like in a different venue with different people. That is going to be scary, just
Yeah.
because I don't know how the public is going to react. So the idea is pretty simple. It's like make it interactive to the public and pay them. Like, hey, you want to win some money? Let's play this game, or something
Yeah.
like that. Make it a little bit more engaging.
I see,
So-
and you can use TikTok for that really well too, as well. If you incorporated TikTok while doing the whole game thing,
Yeah,
that
that's
you're
actually
talking
pretty
about
cool.
would be awesome.
I have no idea how to do
I've
that.
seen
That would be a
that.
Carlos thing.
Yeah,
but
Carlos can
you're
definitely.
right.
I'm sure he's more than capable of doing it. But you know what? That's also another thing that I forgot to mention is.
That you don't have a TikTok. We know, Rudy. Jesus. Okay, but
Did I mention that already?
Yeah.
No, it's just the fact that I also think that one of the goals that I think Rudy and I mentioned this year that we want to do is get more guests on the show too.
This year,
Yeah.
season
like
2,
this
we didn't
season,
have
we
any.
didn't have any.
Well,
last season
what
we had
happened?
2 or
What
3.
happened?
Well, the first season we were recording here in Dallas. This
Yeah.
second season is when our work picked
On the
up,
road.
and we've been on the road since February, and we just got off the road now, and what are we in December? So
Yeah.
we've been on the road for pretty much the whole year. So it's kind of hard to get. We don't want to go to a random stranger at the bar. Hey, you want to be on our podcast?
why not?
I mean,
mean,
it could work.
That's how you meet people. That's the number one
Yeah.
thing. As a matter of fact, that was a Kid Craddock statue. Is that he
that
actually
was.
liked meeting strangers and talking to them and finding out their story.
That's how he met Big Al.
That is true. Yeah, that is. So yeah, that's actually food for thought. But yeah, that's been the biggest reason though is we
Yeah.
haven't been at home, and so we've kind of used that as an excuse, and we haven't had anyone on the show. But I mean, now I'm like, and when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, there's so many people that I would that I think would be great to come on the show. And then doing the crossover with, House of Machismo was something we wanted to do from season 1 when we were on here, and we just didn't get around to doing it. And so it's been like that ever since.
So what's changed with your podcast from the very beginning? I notice you guys are using different microphones now.
Yeah. I mean, the sound quality by far is 10 times better than it used to be, which I'm really proud of because that annoyed the hell out of me.
I think for me, I grew because I know in the beginning he would get so frustrated because I had the habit of, talking away from the mic and he's like, get closer.
It's like, what are you talking about?
Like that. Yeah, he got so much better about that, which thank God, because I don't know if we would have.
You give him little goals.
Yeah, but, and as long as he meets those goals.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for me, I don't know, I'm sure you probably feel this way too. One of the major struggles that we had this season was recording when there's not as much outside noise, because we can't really control the noise in our hotel room. That's usually where we end up recording. So we either have to wait till late at night to record after work or mid-morning when people are out of the hotel rooms.
Sometimes it's not even people. I remember we were at a hotel and there was like a train that was like going by and we were supposed to record that night. We didn't end up recording because the train was just going. There was literally trains like, I don't know, every freaking hour or like 15 minutes. Really, it was more like 15 minutes. But yeah, it was just bad. So things like that we have to deal with. But I mean, overall though, I mean, like I was saying earlier, I'm definitely proud of everything we've done this year. I'm super excited that one of the things, I don't know, I'm sure you guys got it too, but we got our recap for the year. And it kind of gives us, and so that was really cool to see because we saw a lot of information that we didn't know. Yeah, and so we realized that a little over 70% of our listeners now are new listeners. So, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know, depending on how you view it. But I mean, the fact that we're still gaining new listenership is great, and that's good to know. We also found out that we have listeners from different parts of the world, which is also really cool.
We got one from Germany.
But even then, that's cool. Like you have.
Thank you for listening, Hans. We appreciate it, Hans.
But yeah, I mean that's so interesting to me. Like I found out that I have a listener from Japan. So it's like we have that. We have listeners. Well, I can't remember that country. But it was Indonesia or something like that. It was just it was an Asian country, I remember. But I was like,
was it Malaysia?
It might have been Malaysia. Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah, but Malaysia, and then we did have people from Germany and Spain. I mean, so we have like listeners from across the world, which to me, I'm like, even if it's like one listener, but like I'm like, how did we wind up over there? You know what I mean? It's just things like that. So. It's great to see the show where it's at and where it's developing and where it's going to, heading towards, and that's really cool to see.
Like for me, I'm loving the video aspect of it because I know we get a lot of people interactions with people when we put our videos out there, and I know we did do a TikTok in last season, very little when we were doing like little skits, you and I.
Oh yeah, we were doing skits.
People were loving those.
People love those too, which was really funny. They were mainly just for like funny.
I think I remember those. Yeah.
They were related to whatever we were talking about. Yeah, but they were skits that we were doing to just kind of get people to listen.
Did that take a lot of time to do that?
Oh yeah, a lot of time. Yeah. It did.
Was it?
We
worth
would do
it?
with like, it was, but I love what we're doing now with just for the show, like directly involving the specific episode or whatever conversation we're having. I prefer that over the skits. Not opposed to doing them, but definitely the conversation thing is much better. Like we just get a lot of engagement depending on what we're talking about because we'll choose a specific clip or a specific bit that we want to showcase to get people to engage. I remember we did one about music festivals. Oh my gosh, that infuriated people. Yeah. So that was really good because even if it pisses people off, they'll comment on it or whatever and be like, no, I disagree or whatever. Because like I was saying, like music festivals are something from the work of Satan or whatever, and like that's where I was. And I'm like, yeah, that's Satan's work and Satan's calling. And I was just like talking shit about music festivals, and people were so involved in that conversation.
How dare you insult the Satan Music Festival 2022?
Yeah, it was hilarious. So yeah, I mean, I prefer doing things like that.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you do, I'll give Carlos and Adan a big old hug like this. Just squeeze them until they can breathe. Thank you.